switch to, yeah, that.
Oh, I'm about to sneeze. That's going to be a good welcome when this goes live.
Yeah.
Hello, and I'm trying to not sneeze.
Do you have one of those glasses cleaning cloths?
Well, yeah, I've got one in every little glasses case. There you go.
Also, there's a...
Oh, that's just on there. Okay. There's a what?
There's a present on your chair. I don't know if you meant that to be a secret.
A present on my chair? Did I sit on it?
No, you're...
Oh, the one back here.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
Okay.
Maybe now that I got up, because I thought I sat on something.
Yeah, is it going to be a birthday present? Christmas present?
Well, I just figured or whatever.
Oh.
Hello.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh. Shake out my little cloth.
Shake it out.
Little particles coming off glasses. All right. Well, I still got to clean mine, but mine are going to require like a little wipey cloth and the lens cleaner.
All right.
Okay.
Scoot and see.
Oh my gosh, you just made me hit my desk.
Scoot and see Alpha.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
I'm about to sneeze. David is sniffling.
I'm just...
But we're here.
I'm just doing stuff. Oh, hey.
Oh, I should pull up the CopyCon website.
You should, because we've got a new speaker to announce.
Oh, but before we get there, real quick.
Yeah.
Before I forget.
Yeah?
Tanguy, if you're watching, happy birthday. Today. Today is Tanguy's birthday.
Late Tanguy. I'm sure that he is out celebrating, as opposed to being here with us miserables. But yes, we have a new speaker to announce. It may or may not be the person that was late in getting me a photograph. I will neither confirm nor deny this. But if you scroll down, the next speaker for CopyCon is going to be none other than...
Oh, wait. I have to scroll the other way on this mouse.
That's right. Sorry. Sally Caves.
Woo!
Yeah, go ahead and click on her bio and see, it's a pretty good picture.
Look at those amazing earrings, by the way. I also love the glasses, everything.
She always dresses super on point. Anyway, Sally Caves, for those who don't know her, Sally Caves created Teonath, which got the Smiley Award way back then. She did get her PhD from Berkeley, and she's a professor of English at the University of Rochester. I've given a presentation there once. That was in 2014, I want to say. But those from outside the Conlang community might actually know her because she wrote the Star Trek: The Next Generation episode Hollow Pursuits, which is a great episode, but it's also notable in that she created the character Reginald Barclay, who is a guest character who appears in Hollow Pursuits, who then went on to, he kind of became a fan favorite, and so then he was in several more episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was in a few of the movies, and he showed up in other series, Star Trek series after that. So she actually created that character. Wait, Jonathan, you attended the University of Rochester in 2014?
Well, and Jonathan, if you took any classes, she would have been Dr. Higley, not Caves.
Sure.
And so that could be, thing. Also, I love that other people, Miles and Jonathan, both were awesome earrings. And Karis, so happy that you're here. So happy you could make it.
Let me see. Hold on a sec here. I'm gonna confirm. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. It was 2016. April of 2016.
Oh, that's why you were talking about you were at... Never mind, Jonathan. I thought you meant you didn't realize Sally Caves was there. I'm realizing that you were making the connection that David was there, but apparently David was there in the wrong year.
Yeah, so I was there in 2016.
I was not making my connections very well.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Doug Ball got his BA from University of Rochester, where he met Sally. Doug is, of course, a great language creator, and he did his undergraduate thesis on language creation, presented there at University of Rochester before going to graduate school at Stanford. You know, Doug and I both got into UCSD and met each other in person at the Admit weekend that they did for prospective graduate students, where they try to wine and dine you and convince you to come. Ultimately, Doug decided to go to Stanford, and I stuck at UCSD. But
Jonathan wants to know spring or fall of 2016 because they graduated.
Spring.
So, okay, spring.
Yeah, April 2016. Yeah, I gave a presentation there, and Sally had gotten an exhibit there of like a conlang exhibit that displayed some really interesting stuff at that time at the campus. So it was really, really cool. Anyway, and I always instill, I'm going to call her Sally. I know her name is Sarah. Sally is the name that she went under when she wrote those Star Trek episodes. And it's also the name she used on the conlang list, which is where I met her and where I knew her from. And so just always called her Sally. Sally, I can't remember where Sally comes from, but Caves was her mother's maiden name, which I thought was a really cool name. Anyway, so yeah, she will be there. I don't know. Is Sally a pet version of Sarah?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from. I assumed it was short for Salieri.
And also, hey Silvertail, glad you made it. Sorry that the English essay isn't done yet, though. That's
what is it
unfortunate.
on? What's
oh yeah,
it on?
David's here to help you.
Yeah. Oh, a diminutive lambdacism of Sarah.
That is fascinating.
Compare Hal from Harry and Moll from Mary.
I had no idea. Does that mean Molly originally came from Mary?
I think so. Lambdacism.
I had never heard of such a thing. Never heard of this term. As soon as you said it, I knew it must be something about L's, but I had never heard it.
A pronunciation shift whereby L or other closely related phonemes are substituted for other sounds, typically R.
That is fascinating.
Wow. Very cool.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Next guest announced. Yay!
Yeah.
And I'm so excited because I'm trying to remember if she was she at the language creation conference that I was at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you guys are in the same video together that I shot.
Well, there we go. But I don't really remember actually like chatting with her. So I don't know that I actually met her. You know what I'm saying? Like I may have like, oh hey, nice to meet you, but like connected. And so anyway, I'm super stoked. Yeah. Super stoked.
She is cool. And check this out. Pipleridian has hired a boot black to come and fiddle with his antenna, his internet antenna.
Oh, she was right after me in the LCC5 relay. That's amazing.
High five.
Yes.
You send her an email. All right.
I did. Apparently, I sent David emails, sent her emails. Had no idea.
Yeah.
And Silvertail has to write a narrative essay about how literacy has impacted.
Yeah. Yeah. Try to top what Frederick Douglass wrote. Jeez, the all-time, and that was just a small part of his autobiography. But yeah, in terms of how did literacy impact your life, nobody is ever going to beat that. That's honestly, the whole thing was just a fantastic book, but that was one of the greatest things I have ever read. Literacy
allowed me to leave a small rural town in my mind long before I ever did.
That's right. In your mind, you were going to Carolina. Just kidding. It was Kentucky. That was your far off young girl dream. Oh, how to visit the wilds of Kentucky.
I was very excited to visit Kentucky when I finally did. But also, like, New York City. Come on. The Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frank Weiler. My God, I wanted to, like, run away to New York City.
There you go. I mean, if you can't top Frederick Douglass, why write at all?
Why?
Yep.
Indeed. Okay.
Okay, wait. I know we were going to get on other things, but I just got to share this. Have you heard about Frederick Douglass speaking at the funeral of Abraham Lincoln? No. Okay. So there's, the funeral of Abraham Lincoln, right? A huge thing and, a tragic event, right? And so there's tons of people there, including Frederick Douglass, and and given that he's such a good orator and writer, people wanted Frederick Douglass to speak, but he was like, no, I don't want to. So like apparently I think it was Daniel Webster got up and like gave a speech, and it was just so like staid and boring and like kind of by the numbers that there were like grumbles and stuff, and there were like people were like, man, how could this be what is going to be said at the funeral of the great Abraham Lincoln? And so they kept on going to Frederick. Let's say, like, come on, you got to say something. He's like, all right, fine, I didn't prepare anything. And then he stood up and gave the greatest speech ever given on American soil, by all accounts. Like, it was like people were so stunned. I think somebody like tried to start to write it down afterwards, but it's like he didn't write it beforehand. He just extemporized it, and it was apparently so good it drove people to tears. Anyway, what power! That guy is amazing. All right, so
You're saying it's better than my graduation speech. I see.
in his defense, Winnie the Pooh hadn't yet been written.
That's true. Okay, so side note, the current conlang relay will have gone through 3 lang timers. 4, because it will have gone through 3 by the time it gets to Magpie. So that may be the 4th. Anyway, I can't wait to see the results because, like, how exciting. Okay. KobeCon, yay.
Yeah.
Conlang relay, woohoo.
Yep.
So many exciting things.
All right.
Now, there we go. Let's get to this, shall we?
Poll. All right. So, man, by the way, I think I've mentioned it before because it's just such a trip, but if you ever want to read something where it's like, oh, this is very well written, but just completely absurd and ridiculous, the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, what a joke. It's almost like it's a parody of somebody who's just so obliviously arrogant. It's hilarious. Absolutely stunning. Everybody should read it. And you're not reading it for the content. You're not reading it because he was some great American. Just read it to read an absolutely batshit insane, autobiography of some guy who's just so delighted to find out that he's the best at everything. What a surprise it was to him. It's so funny. Anyway.
Sounds like it's the origin of Naruto.
God, that's right. Ben Franklin, the original shonen boy. All right. Aloha, Grendel.
Yay.
We're gonna talk about the poll. This was a fun one, so we were gonna have some palatalization, but we wanted to figure out where, and so we started with the most conservative option and went to the most aggressive. So the most conservative would be that, because we're gonna have palatalization somewhere, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Most conservative would be that it would be only adjacent to E, the front high front vowel. Thank you. I corrected that in my brain, so I thanked my brain.
Your brain welcomes you.
Hey, thank you.
How do you say that? Your welcomes you? Acknowledges? Like, how do you turn that into a verb? Like, you're welcome. How do you say, like, I can thank you, but then you blank me?
Welcomed me?
You can't just say welcome because that means something else.
Hit me with a big fat you're welcome.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hit it up.
Yeah. So this one, it would only be adjacent to the high front vowel. And the thing is, the high front vowel only ever occurs as the second member of a diphthong. So it would be extremely conservative, what you call it, palatalization. But we were going to say that we were going to have, preposition that would trigger, palatalization in the following thing so that we could have our mutation thing so it would still work. All right. That option, I want to double check. Actually, no, I don't want to spoil it. That option got the second most votes. We'll say. Well, I'll just, you know what? There was a huge runaway winner. One of them got like one more vote than the other when it came to second and third. That was the second place one. But The winner was just it was a freight train. Okay, second one, front diphthong adjacent. So this is where we would have palatalization next to diphthongs only. And so basically might would become might, and tim would become chim, but tim would stay tim, and met would stay met. Okay? And so, sorry, I just got caught reading that. Okay, so that's one option. And then the final option, the most aggressive option, was that would be that there is palatalization next to all front vowels. And so tim would become chim, mets would become met, and then, of course, the diphthongs. So one of these was in first place by a huge margin, and the other was in last place by a huge margin. Any guesses as to which was in first?
I feel, I don't know. Every time I think I know, I don't. So never mind. I don't know.
Number one is B, front diphthong adjacent. So the middle option, the just right option, the baby bear option. Not the I guess mama bear, papa bear? I don't know.
No, I really feel like A was the baby bear. Mama bear is the...
No, baby bear is just right. Papa bear is too hot, mama bear is too cold, baby bear is just right.
It just seems weird.
It does, doesn't it?
Shouldn't baby bears be the coldest soup?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So then we're going to go ahead and write this up. Basically, the diphthongs are going to be coming, are going to be changing things. And we'll discuss maybe a potential extra sound change after that. Oh, right. I do need the dog language open.
Yes, you do. Goodness, David.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I'm scrolling backwards. And this would have to happen after our diphthong changes.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and delete these other sound changes.
Yeah, the ones that are just down there to kind of be placeholders.
Yeah, the ones that we've done have been so specific that those haven't been useful. Anyway. Okay. So, it's going to have to happen after 6.
Jonathan says you need to open the dog you meant.
Ooh! All right. Because I had a thought.
Okay.
We could actually have the palatals absorb the vowels as a second sound change.
Okay, so might becomes might, which then becomes much.
It could be. It could even become long. Match. And then also, Tim could become Chim, could should become Chum.
That's interesting. Do you want to write up some of those examples there that were?
Yeah, God,
I
love polenta so much. I'm gonna put them below.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think through, in my head, any implications that we're not thinking of. Other than the fact that wouldn't that be the only place that we actually have the eval and we're now getting rid of it, essentially?
No, E is...
Wasn't that the one?
Orthographic E is proto-vowel.
No, the sound E. The I in IPA.
That would be only when it palatalizes the following consonant.
And then it would disappear. It would always. The only way we would get it then is an open syllable.
No.
Okay.
I'll
okay.
Give you an example.
Now you have me worried that. Okay, so these are what he is suggesting.
Sure, yeah.
There's no I in team. There is now, Jonathan. Okay, I see what you're saying. Hmm. So, like, weird thing about our house, it's like our temperature has been set to the same, like the thermostat rather, has been set to the same temperature for well over a month. And yet some days it feels fine. And then days like today, it feels like it's absolutely freezing. Like I am like all tense and sitting up straight because I am cold. And I don't know if it's because I'm right by the mail slot, so like
what is that?
It's so cold. How are you so warm? Yeah. Oh my god! Like I feel my little nose. It's a little, little snowman nose. I am so cold right now.
Oh jeez, I misspelled directly. It may be because you had blood drawn. Yeah.
But so did you.
Well, yeah, but it's random whether they get the warm cells or the cold cells.
Anyway.
I have done exercise today, and no, you did yoga in the morning, didn't you?
Yeah,
I mean, that's not exercise, but...
Yes, it is.
No, it's stretching.
It is exercise. I mean, it's not like cardio, but it is definitely exercise. Trust me, like, my muscles are shaking by the time I get done holding poses. It's not just sit and stretch, but you gotta hold poses. Anyway, yoga's exercise.
I did pull-ups today.
Well, Miles, it wasn't actually giving blood. It was like blood work.
Yeah, you didn't give it. They took it.
But okay.
Ilona. Oh, terve.
Tervetuloa.
That's welcome, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Terve is hello.
I said terve ya tervetuloa. There we go.
There we go. And also get some kipis. And kitos for being here.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
What's something that we can say that we have? Meila on...
Oh, we have... Oh, no, how about melo on tola? Or do you want to say koti?
Tola?
Talo.
Yeah.
Meila
un talo. Meila un talo.
Or do you want to say kito?
Meila un...
Koti. I keep saying the vowels backwards.
Meila un valkoinen talo.
I guess it is kind of white.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh no. I don't know that one. Kuulostaa hyvältä.
Kuulostaa hyvältä.
Hyvältä.
So the first one looks like it's probably in the, what you call it? Not privative, the partitive. And the second one looks like it's in the ablative.
Something good, right?
Yeah.
Because hyvä, good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there. I think good afternoon, I bet. Kuulostaa hyvältä, maybe. Okay, so we've got some like palatalize everything, and then Miles says from this then the palatal C will only come before the schwa and oo.
Yep.
Yes, that would be what would happen. Grindle is saying the front aspirants become stops in the back. Sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So it was third person singular. That's what it was.
Oh my gosh. And we can also say, yay. The Duolingo version of
It's the funniest part about it.
anytime they say yay as in like woohoo, to say it in Finnish, it's also yay. But like every time they say it, the recording is just like yay.
Also, it's written with a long vowel, but it's like the shortest long vowel I've ever heard in my life.
And so it's always funny because it's like saying something like yay, we have something, and it's like yay.
Paljon onnea. Yay.
That's exactly it. Okay. So let's discuss this.
Yeah.
Let's.
I wanted to respond to this. So, no, it will not only occur before u and it will in roots. But the thing is, remember, we were going to do something to make it palatalize, right? So if you look at this one, might becoming much, right? We were going to have some sort of preposition that was like I, that would cause the next thing to palatalize. And so you're going to get palatalized consonants in front of every vowel.
Oh, right.
In that context. So, but like it would be the difference be like you'll only get certain in certain roots, and then letter and borrowings, I think. Mm-hmm. Because of course they can put it in front of any vowel. It's just in the native language it will only occur before certain vowels and roots. Right. And in others it will occur only before those vowels in this specific morphological context, which is cool.
Ilona is perhaps suggesting that that's really how it's said. Yay. I am so excited. I cannot wait to go to Finland. And I just can't wait to be like, to hear it, I hope, in the wild, or to somehow elicit it, to be like, can you say yay for me? That is amazing.
Yeah. Here in the land of English speakers, we let our yays go for a while. Yay! Also, like, I would say that the standard length for a yay, it's like, oh, yay! That's probably the standard length for a yay. Like just a regular old yay, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is like way longer than yay.
God, that inflection is good. Okay. All right. Yeah. I am comfortable with this option. I am comfortable with us being like, let's do it. I'm comfortable with us being like, let's put it to a vote. I'm comfortable with whichever you say. I may have to really go get another layer of sweatshirt, as David's all warm over here. And I am the one who is usually too hot is freezing right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I put the wrong thing. Nobody pointed this out.
Gosh, David.
That's supposed to be that. So now, but here, what do you think about this? And we can see if you want to put it to a vote. I am. So, what do you think? Might becoming much or much? Might, much. Might, much.
I don't think it needs to be long.
All right. I'm comfortable with that. And this is going to lead to something really exciting.
It makes sense with the way that these are palatalizing for what triggered the palatalization to disappear. Because essentially it's like merging with the consonant to create the palatal. And then it's like, well, it's not really needed anymore.
Do you want to do it in one step or two?
I think that depends on whether we're going to use it for something else, because like it makes sense in my head to do it just as one step. They merge. But like if we wanted to reserve the right to eventually put something else between them so something else happens, then it makes sense to do it in two steps. Especially if, wait, I think we want it in two steps because for the grammatical features with those triggering this palatalization, we wouldn't necessarily want the next thing to disappear. Like if we have tim and it becomes ichem, we don't want the e to disappear necessarily.
Well, it'll be I, but yeah, we do. But
you know what I'm saying. But
yeah,
like,
I do. But
like we want that still there, right?
No, that's going to be the fun part.
I don't know how I feel about that. Because isn't that the whole point? That it's otherwise it's going to be like, especially if something in the word itself already triggered the palatalization, it's going to be completely ambiguous. Like it's not going to be there at all.
I don't think so. So, let me give you some scenarios here. All right. These are two words. That's
Although
yeah.
protoform, that wouldn't be an I there, right?
No, it'd be I. Okay. Second step, this is where the polarization happens. Third step is where the palatalization happens. And the fourth step is where this happens. Huh? It'll be like an in English.
And this changes only with diphthongs.
Yeah.
And so like tim would still be tim. Even though it's a front vowel. It wouldn't trigger.
Yes.
Whereas like tim would be chim with the trigger. Or not
not
it'd
that
be
one.
Something
This one and only that one.
That's the only one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. With it only being diphthongs, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. No, that's okay. Okay.
I think it does make sense for it to be two different sound changes, though. And I'll tell you why. It's because this is across word boundaries, and if we really want to sell it, it should be like, this thing happened first, and then by analogy, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I don't know where we want to put it though. Labialized consonants. This is where that labialization thing happens.
Oh, way up on 8.
Yeah, I think probably
way up. Just a little scooch up the page is way up.
I think it should happen right around here because this is where other things are happening with secondary articulation.
Vololo Pergisnacht, whose name I always pronounce differently, wants to know, what if you had something on both sides? Would it trigger loss of both? Like if you had might in front of it and then team behind it, would they lose both those front vowels that triggered the change?
I don't know. I think that sequence is very unlikely, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got the chills. That's what that was. I wish this is where having a Snuggie would help.
That's true.
Because then I could still type.
Do you want a coffee?
Do you want a coffee?
No, I can brew you a coffee. You've taught me how.
No, so it's like really what I should do is just drink like some hot water or something.
Sounds
maybe
boring.
some tea.
No.
Ooh, I have those little mixes. I could do a little soothing mix with hot water, and then it would be all hot like.
You could do that. Yeah. All right, so first we're going to do, first thing is the palatalization. Did we discuss it was only, I forget, was it only coronals? Or was it, I don't remember.
I thought
remember?
I thought it was only going to be the coronals, because didn't we talk about the like P, or not? We have a B. Anyway, we talked about the labials, it not affecting, and I thought we had said it wasn't going to affect uvular.
Oh yeah, well,
or velar.
I mean, there's no way it could. The only question was if it was velar. Like velar and coronal are the only potential options.
Cinnamon roll flavored tea, nice. All right, everyone make some tea while we're figuring this out. I'm gonna go boil myself some water and get ready to make something hot while David is typing this up. And if anyone remembers differently from me, please speak up. But I believe that this was only going to affect those alveolar consonants that we're working with right here. I thought we had made that. Okay. All right, you're right, Jake. Not everyone needs to make it right now if they've already made it. If you've already made it, you're good. But I am going to scooch, and you push me into the desk, so I'm stuck. Okay, go back, David. Go. And entertain while you type.
I'm going to take over the lead spot here.
No.
Use my wonderful keyboard. Okay, so really though, does anybody know? Like,
we're still trying to determine.
Yeah.
This was not a joke.
Yeah, I don't know what to put here, so I'm not sure.
I really thought we weren't going to have it affect anything else.
Okay, so that's oops. Oh yeah, pharyngeal H. That was well. Oh yeah. Well, it would if it was affecting the velars, it would only affect k and g. I think that's what we decided, because then you have the distinction between k and g and qua and gua. We could potentially get rid of later. Yeah, and what about R? Was Ria gonna do anything? Mar?
Goodness, I don't remember.
Oh, it's here. Oh my God, it's here. Look.
Oh, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
So never mind.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Remember, L and R disappear. Mai becomes Maich. And then, and yeah, the velars and alveolars merge. Oh, thank God that we wrote that down. Oh.
So I was wrong, but yay for documentation.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know how to write that up still, but I was very studenty today and just made pesto pasta. What does that have to do with being a student? Okay. Okay, C minus labial minus uvular. I think that actually is, that's it.
What is?
It's all consonants that are minus labial and minus uvular. I think that actually captures it.
How did I get you.
Thank you.
I'm having it.
Because if it's minus labial, it gets rid of all of those. If it's minus uvular, it gets rid of all of those. Okay? And then minus labial and minus uvular. Pharyngeal is also minus labial and minus uvular. So that's good. And then the last remaining ones are the qua, gua, and lwa. And all of those are plus labial because they're labialized. So that actually takes care of it. Isn't that cool?
It's even taking the water more time to boil than usual because it's so cold.
I feel like this isn't being celebrated enough, least of all by Biblaridian. I mean, he should be applauding me that I've finally done something correct. Oh well. We know that Biblaridian truly hates us.
Truly what?
Hates us. And by us, I mean me.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Bib and I are like besties.
Yeah. He and Artifexian just watch this together and laugh. They have just a stream that's just for like their members, where they just watch this and react and just laugh. All right. Several consonants change their unique characters in the presence of. Oh, are you done? We can switch. In the presence of what do you call this? Diphthongs containing front vowels. Yeah. All right. What have you got there?
Switch. It's one of those herbal things.
Oh, that was going to be hot chocolate.
Doesn't it smell like it a little bit?
Yeah.
And so I've never had this one, so it'll be my first time trying it.
That's actually the only reason I asked, because it smelled like hot chocolate.
Oh, that's right. Our podcast came out.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yay.
What?
I could do better than describe my mug. I can show it, which is embrace your inner unicorn with a unicorn on it.
Yeah.
And this was a gift from my dear friend Kay, who sometimes joins in, and who's going to be here tomorrow. Woohoo! Oh, I mean, yay.
Also, Arnite Petrichor, I mean, you basically just admitted that you're not in the inner circle.
Yay.
The Bieber circle.
Oh, the Bieber circle.
Okay.
And so we've got that done. I'm so excited. And
Oh, by the way, you know what this means?
oh yes, Jake, I've actually had this mug for a while. And so Bibber is Dutch for shiver.
Oh, that's really cute.
That's amazing. I can make that a word in Jwadi. Not exactly, because the R isn't exactly the same, but oh my god, that's amazing.
This is actually, this is why it needs to be separate sound changes.
Magpie is correct. It was the Kopiko mug at one point, because I used to keep my Kopiko in that mug. And so you're absolutely right. I got a good memory. Oh, and for any patrons who haven't heard the podcast yet, it accidentally got too long, and so it's going to be a two-parter.
Yeah.
Woohoo! So next month, be ready for a conclusion.
Okay, but now look at the screen, because something just happened there. This is why it needs to be two separate sound changes.
Rim.
Yeah, so that's why it needs to be two separate sound changes, because the R and the L are going to disappear. They're essentially going to become yeah. Basically.
Okay.
Whether we write them that way or not.
And so we need that to happen in between this and when it disappears, so that way it's still like yum or whatever?
No.
Okay.
So, all right, so let's see. Specifically. T and K. Ooh, that's funny. That's the hardest K in the world, right there.
Whoa! It's like, it's so hardcore that it's not even in Palatino X. It's like we do not acknowledge this K-ness.
Mm-hmm. All right. Then let's see.
Oh.
Those are both sounds,
Whoops,
right?
let me move that. D and G become J.
Those are both sounds, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We have not yet discussed what happens though. Oh wait, we did discuss that one. So okay, so it's going to keep the pharyngealization as it becomes palatal.
Okay, and then that's all of those. Then both.
What? Okay, we decided though that the labialization would not play a role because we have qua and gua.
That's right.
And that's right, as in we decided just one of those things would happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we get to write our second rule, which is palatal absorption. All right. So this is the spot, or my spec. It's to nothing in the presence of C.
It was warm. Sorry for the
Plus
loud sippy noise.
Palatal. And then we got to do it like this.
I know, Ilona, I was trying not to hit the spoon on the side as I was trying to stir it up more. I'm really trying not to do that.
There we go. Okay.
That's the problem with having a hot drink. Sometimes the spoon makes noise. Sometimes you make little sippy noises because it's so hot you can't like just take a drink. I'm gonna be noisy.
Well,
But it is already warming me up.
As you know, I always have believed that hot beverage is an oxymoron.
I know, David doesn't like anything hot. Okay.
So then I just want to write this up.
Oh, you haven't written that part up yet. Oh my gosh. It was showing your cursor in two places on my screen. And I thought you had already written it. I was like, isn't that what we just said? But you had just written the rule. They are slurped up. Yes. You're absolutely right, Jake.
Ooh, I just got a text message notification that we should prepare for outages of our internet due to the coming storm.
Oh, no.
But also, like, I kind of thought the storm was over.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
What's going to happen this weekend?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be clear.
Man. But,
by way of example, so...
just in case you missed Jake's compliment, David's hot enough already.
Thank you. Somebody finally acknowledges it.
So hopefully the internet is not affected in this moment, especially since our we're literally looking out at the clearest blue skies we've seen in weeks. It may be chilly out there, but like no storms. And if we survived all of the last storm with internet intact, it's bizarre to me that they think something's coming up that's worse. We'll find out.
Okay.
Oh, hot water with honey and a poached egg. I do so love eggs.
Okay. So that's good.
We've got a good thing going here.
Yeah. All right.
And then yeah, that's good. So we will still get those diphthongs when those R and L disappear. So that's good. Yay! Should
Yeah.
we celebrate?
I think we should.
Get our celebration here, David.
Celebrate with Coke.
Pico. You know what, Miles? I would not be opposed to trying honey on a poached egg.
Oh my god. So,
I am like all about trying eggs in all sorts of places. I sure do enjoy them, like I said.
you're talking to a guy here that does not eat eggs and despises honey. Like some of the things that you all discuss, cheers. It's just like you're just ripping them directly from my worst nightmares. It's almost like it's a prank or something.
Well,
I
wouldn't be opposed to it, is all I'm saying.
I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest, with no direct evidence, that Bibleridian is with me in despising honey. I think he doesn't need honey.
Okay. Bibleridian, we need a check on that.
Yeah.
Oh, and yes, Jonathan, I'm following.
The anti-honey. Is there anything I do eat? Oh, let me tell you. Jesse made for me the greatest meat pie I've ever had in my entire life, bar none. I mean, that's easily bar none. And I've had pasties all over South England. And also, you know, pot pies. This is easily the best one. Easily the best one. And second was just, honestly, just a top 3 meal experience for my entire life. She made this Jamaican meat patty, and to go with it, spinach and mushrooms were phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Asparagus was phenomenal. And then the third thing, how am I missing?
The sweet potatoes.
The sweet potatoes made like little fried potatoes. I'm not somebody that likes sweet potatoes. Also phenomenal. It was just one of the greatest things I've ever had in my entire life. And thank you, Bibleridian. That now goes on my side of the ledger.
Awesome. Okay, so Jonathan, some changes that were made included way reducing the amount of oil and butter that went into the meat mixture itself. And even then, next time I make it, I'm going to reduce it even more because I ended up using paper towels to get rid of a lot of what was left over of the oil. I also switched out, this is something I've been doing lately, I've been switching out onion for fennel bulb. And so instead of an onion, I used an entire bulb of fennel. And I added bell peppers because I didn't have Scotch bonnet peppers. So I did 2 jalapenos and I diced up some like different colors, red, orange, and then there was one that was kind of like a brown red that ended up being my favorite flavor of the bunch. I diced up that to put in for like that kind of sweeter, fruitier taste. And so those are some of the other changes I made beyond kind of just tweaking. I also added, I thought it needed some brightening in the meat mixture, so I added some vinegar to it and a little bit of sugar.
Mm-hmm. So, Ilona, I've heard of Mammi, and I've also heard that it's kind of served mostly around Easter. Do you think it'll still be there in May? Can we find it when we're in Finland? It's a Finnish dish.
Silphium, a lost cultivar of fennel, is what one of the theories for what silphium was. I don't know what silphium is, and now I want to research this. Yeah. Okay. Asparagus. Oh, asparagus.
Asparagus versus
asparagus.
Asparagus.
Huh. Oh, because I say asparagus. Okay.
So.
And they said asparagus is what they said, is what I'm guessing.
That is right, Ilona. We will be there in later May, so not early May, towards the end of May.
And yes, we are coming to Finland.
Mm-hmm.
So excited.
That's right.
It was a spice that was so dang popular in Rome that it was harvested to extinction.
Whoa!
And if it was related to fennel, I could see why. There's actually, oh my gosh, there's an island near here that I need to take David to at some point. You won't like the hiking, but if you do go on a hike, there's wild fennel that grows all over it. It's amazing.
And you can harvest whatever you want?
I mean, it's like national park. You're really not supposed to leave the trails. But anyway.
I was born here, though. That's only, those rules are for, your ilk.
Anyway. Just good old Midwestern asparagus. Yes. Okay. So, and Ilona for fun. Let's move on.
Yeah. So we can delete this.
We can delete, what you had.
Yeah, we might have to do more things with the vowels and the consonants at some point, but I don't think that we're going to know that until we really dive in. And so I'm just scrolling through the document to see if there was anything in purple. Oh, we can get rid of that. I forgot. Need to write that part of the sound change down.
What part, sorry?
That.
And anime fan, no, 8 is not too low to be a base for a number system. The lowest that you would potentially naturally have for human languages is 2.
Yeah,
like 1 hand, 2 hands. You could have 2. It would get really unwieldy after a while, but you could have 2.
We did base 8.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, just the mouse language.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've actually done even one of our conlings for human speakers. We did a base 6, Minishe.
That's right.
And so, yeah, no, you can definitely. Base 5 is also really good, especially if you have human speakers with 5 fingers. That's a really good base as well. And so, George, good point. That's really funny. All right. So, going back up, I think what this means, David, you had promised me that once we got through this, we would reserve future sound changes for what we see happening when we start actually bringing things together.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing things like deciding on word order.
Yeah, and then creating these intentional particles that trigger mutations. So, we're going to make this work no matter what. I think we more or less decided on head initial? Or did we?
Did we?
I don't know. No, I really don't.
I think
that wasn't a question. That was a question.
I think what we had discussed was that we were going to rely more on word order, which means we had talked about, it would be head initial largely, because we wanted to make sure we had the verb in between a subject and an object. So that way we wouldn't run into needing to otherwise mark them unless we wanted to.
Well, let me give you two alternatives. I'm sorry, one alternative. Miles suggesting VSO that could work. I'm going to write it up top. So we have dog chase cat, of course. You could also have chase dog cat. And then this could explode out into essentially, like, you know, the little symbol I want there? It's not that one, but it's these. Chase dog and then something like go cat, basically. Some sort of serial verb construction. That is, if this is your basic construction, there's less need or impetus for that. If this is your construction, it begets something like this, where essentially you have VSO word order that comes from older, so this could become that, but this comes from older VSVO word order. And in fact,
I'm reading the arrows correctly. We're actually saying two different things in 2 and 3.
They're in inverse order. So this is phase 1. This is phase 2. But this is a description of phase 2. And this is an explication of phase 2.
So it's technically VSO word order, but you actually require a verb particle in between the S and O.
Yeah.
So it's still head initial.
Yeah.
Okay.
But basically what gets inserted here is a vowel, a verb that is inherently understood to take an object. And that becomes eroded to essentially become an object marker. So you have verb, subject, object marker, object. Okay. And we can have a series of these. But then, like, this is the type of thing that will show up all the time. Mm-hmm. And so it is the type of thing that could trigger mutation.
Which would be, okay.
Yeah.
Quick side note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, object initial languages are so rare that there are really just a handful of them identified, to the point where if you look at like percentages of studies based on NatLangs, it's something like 0.02%. It's really low. So rare that it ends up looking like 0 whenever you try to like actually like compare it on a chart to others. Does it happen? Technically, yes. Again, sometimes it depends on the analysis that was done of languages, and sometimes it's like only in particular grammatical situations. And so yeah, OSV and OVS are very, very rare. David.
I just have something to say about both OVS and about V2 when you're ready. So I was just raising my hand.
Well, what I was going to go on with was in the languages where it's grammatically triggered, there's something else going on. And so, like, technically, there are some grammatical constructions in English that require the object first, which is like interrogative structures with a WH word, like, what did you see? The object is actually what, and it's way out front, but it's like a very specific grammatical triggering where it's just like anything that's the WH word gets fronted, and if it happens to be the object, then so be it. And you could also like get situations where like the object gets dislocated in like focus constructions, like hamburgers, I love. Pizza, I love. Onions, David hates. And I could technically do that, but I also have to like supermarket with, you know, intonation and other things to make it happen. And it's a super special construction, so it's not just what you would see as a default word order. All that is to say, you can do all sorts of things in language, but having that as the default structure is super, super rare. And in some cases, potentially maybe a misanalysis. David, go.
You just said supermarket.
Not market. Market. All right, go on.
No, you did say supermarket. Yeah, but anyway, I suspect that for one of the most famous examples of OVS, Hitchkaryana, that it arose in exactly the same way as natural OVS arose in my language Sondiv, which was intended to be SVO. And I think it arose for roughly the same reason. Because if you look at Sondiv, the verb is marked on the left and right side for the subject and object. It's marked on the left side for the subject and the right side for the object. And it does so because that's where the pronouns glommed on. But the thing is, the sounds were so similar on either side that it was actually awkward to put the subject here and the object here with the agreement. And so as I was translating, I just naturally switched to OVS, because it sounded better. If you look at Hitchkaryana marks its subject and object. And if you look at the markers, based on where they are with respect to the verb, it's older SVO word order. I think it arose for the exact same reason, and that's why it's OSV. So that was what I had to say about OSV. Also, it occurs pretty naturally in ASL, and I think that's just because like objects get fronted, and then you just say like I, which is de-emphatic. So that's that one. B, V2 word order comes about in the following way. It's very easy to see how essentially it happened and how English got what it did. And you'll see why English is the bizarre one. So in English, you can say things like, I've got him dead to rights. And if you analyze this, it's basically, I as a subject, have as the verb, or have got or whatever. Him is the object, and then what follows is the state. So, I've got him dead to rights. Dead to rights is the state. I painted it blue. I made it black, that type of thing. So I want you to think about the phrase, I have him bound. All right? That could mean I have this person in a state where I have bound them. Or if you just magic eye it a little bit, it sounds like a really funky way to say I have bound him. I have him bound. I have bound him. And I think that's what happened with English. Basically, we were doing this quote-unquote V2 structure a whole bunch, and it just sounded weird to have the two parts of the verb separated. And so then we just put them closer together. Just say, why are we saying I have him bound? That's so weird. Let's just say I have bound him. Other languages did not. There you go. That's all.
You're so cute. Yeah, sorry. That was a really big tangent. This is not going to be object initial.
No.
Sorry to say.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason for it for what we have envisioned grammatically. I had been leaning just toward SVO. However, this VSO word order, which I had not considered at all, which, by the way, is actually one of my favorite word orders in conlanging.
Me too. It's also one of my favorite word orders in natural languages.
Well, that's one of the reasons it's my favorite in conlanging, is because it's like I just really like this verb initial kind of order. In fact, it like with Shwari, I went SOV, and that kind of hurt a little. I wanted it to be VSO, but like I've made so many conlangs that are VSO that I was like, I should really push myself. I should push it.
Sounds like somebody's living in Shetland.
No, I'm not, because I did it.
Right on.
And I am doing it. Now it is what it is. Okay. But it also made it so I have postpositions, which I rather enjoy having.
Yeah.
And so I'm not so mad at that.
That is nice.
Okay, so I think that makes sense given this was actually something that David more recently, it was in our presentation that we did for UCLA for their linguistics students. And David had mentioned that when you're conlanging and you come up with like some sound changes, a goal is that you want them reinforced through other structures like grammatical structures, because otherwise they won't happen very often, which means they don't make as much sense to be a part of the system. And so one example he had given was that like if you decide this particular thing is going to happen at the ends of words, like adding suffixes will really let you play with that boundary of like when that sound change occurs, and like really like reinforce the change and have it present a lot, but then also give you like some quirks where it doesn't show up because, you know, it had a different ending. And so this, I think, is a perfect way of reinforcing that palatalization across borders that we wanted, that grammaticalization of lenition, you know, all the things we wanted to do. This would be, I think, a perfect way of doing that, because otherwise the only other system that would make sense, given what we have discussed so far, is in prepositional phrases. And I say prepositional, not adpositional, because we had already said largely had initial. So I was thinking it would probably be prepositional phrases. And so I'm on board. Let's do this. Let's do this.
All right. So then I have a thought.
Mateus, I totally understand you. Yeah, that's exactly what I did too. I did so much verb initial that I was like, I should really push. But also, again, it is a fun benefit of that was getting some postpositions, because I wanted those to all come from verbs, and it suddenly was very natural to get postpositions with that head final structure.
Okay. So we have 3 usual mutations: palatal, intervocalic, and nasal. We've described fully one of them. Yeah. And there are 2 more there. But we also have the potential, stick with me here, potential for 3 main prepositions that all others are built off of. And we have 1 essentially accusative, 2 genitive, and 3, what do you think? Locative?
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to throw in maybe static. Oh, I'm sorry. No. I'm going to throw those in as maybes. But essentially, it's going to depend on the semantics of whatever verbs we choose for these. Yeah. All right. But it's hard to work with abstracts, or at least I've always thought so. So what do you think? You want to make some words?
mean, yes, but also like I'm so not ready. This was another thing we had recently discussed, where it's like taking that first step when you have ideas and you're like, okay, time to solidify them, and it's like you then just get absolutely frozen.
Yeah.
Because terrifying.
We have three. I'm going to give three options and for where to start and three possible questions. So, one is chase, which could potentially be complex. Two is dog, and knowing that we have the history of our dogs that they've separated into like little bands. There could be separate words for dog, or that could be the one thing that they have in common. And then the other one is bark, and the question there is, could it naturally take an object to mean bark at? Like, is that what they would think? Or like, how would dogs think of barking themselves? Is it something that they just do, or is it this something that they feel like they're doing to affect the outside world? In other words, would they think of it as intransitive, or would they think of it as transitive? Like the basic form, you are a dog. Is this something you just do because you like doing it, or is it something that you do to affect something else?
See, but like, even if it affects something else, I wouldn't think it would be your basic accusative marker. Like, to me, it would be like, I barked the squirrel, meaning like I barked the squirrel up the tree, you know, like
Sure.
I barked to make the squirrel do what I wanted the squirrel to do. Kind of like how like herding dogs will use barks to like bark whatever they're herding into order.
Okay.
Oh, the other day I saw the most precious video. I should have sent it to you. I'm so sorry. And what I'm about to describe, I should have sent. But it was a border collie who was a herding dog. And they were herding ducklets to a puddle. And like literally like would get down all the way on the ground and like crawl forward because the ducklets were so small, and the ducklings really. And the dog didn't want to, you know, scare the ducks. And so would get and like crawl forward and then would run around and like crawl this way and then ran back around and like herded this entire group of ducklings to this puddle of water.
Yeah, I can see why you didn't share that with me. That doesn't sound like something that I would usually be interested in. Adorable animals doing something with other adorable animals in an adorable way.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, ducklets. Really, Jonathan, we should, because ducklet. I also accidentally made up a word the other day with lit. As David is upset with me, I'll share this, and it like my brain couldn't even process the fact that I made up the word until I had used it about 4 times in a conversation, and then I'm like, wait, that's not a real word. And it's that I have these little trivets, but they're little tiny ones, and they stick on the bottom of with magnets onto the bottom of a pan. And so they're small trivets. And so I kept calling them trivulets. And I kept doing that. And like, it wasn't until like the 4th or 5th time in the conversation that I said it that I stopped and went, that's not a word, is it? And realized, no, it is not. But I was like, but they're tiny trivets. They're not meant to be used alone because they're so small. And so I called them trivulets.
All right. You're going to want to see what Ilona just shared with us.
Describing a distance. Peninculma, which comes from the distance. A dog bark can be heard. Peninculma. Oh my goodness. So for me, okay.
So all that must be, penny must be dog. Penning, it would be the genitive. And then kuluma would be call, I guess. Peninculma.
Jonathan, did you know I was going there before I said trivulets?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, yeah, whole nother story. Yeah. Okay.
Penning is the old word for dog. Oh, because we know coera.
Yeah, coera is the word we have learned. That is amazing. Oh, Jonathan. Right here, right
What
here.
what happened? Why is Penny? Why is Penny no longer the word for dog?
I don't.
Where did that come
Why isn't hound any longer the standard English word for dog?
from?
What happened?
Yeah.
And yet in other Germanic languages, it's still hund.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still there. Okay, so all that is to say, I like bark being used transitively because I think that they would envision that every time they bark, something's happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a certain sort of naive optimism that,
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this. Um, and I like that. I like that view of my dogs.
Okay.
But
So-
I don't think it should be the accusative marker.
Then we can just come up with a form for bark.
We can. I feel like it could be a causative marker, but not an accusative.
Oh yeah.
Or a causative derivation or something,
yeah.
you know, like however we decide to treat that. A little thanklet.
So yeah, what do you think bark sounds like?
Something pharyngealized.
See, now I like the one of the things I like about rough is I feel like it's a representation of just the trail at the end. You know, there you just close your lips and then the vocalization. I'm sorry, the vibration of the vocal fold stops and you just end up with air.
I am fine with that labial at the end.
That was a velarized L, which would later just become L.
Oh my god, it'd be like little lofts.
Then we have would be the pharyngeal uvular. Oh, we could also do the labialized uvular.
Was that was the voiced one?
Yeah, it was voiced. I'm trying to think. If we did the pharyngeal followed by R, that would be, you know, it's very Englishy.
I think I liked that uvular labialized. No, I don't like that anymore. Do it without the labialization. Oh, I like that better.
All right, so vowels, we have raf, roof, roof, raf, ref.
Definitely not a. I'm feeling up, off, or off.
Okay. Raf, roof, raf.
Kind of feeling the O.
Roof, roof, roof. Yeah.
I like that.
Roof. All right.
Woo!
Here we go. Word number 1. Oof. Bark. You want to do a separate one for the howl?
Obviously.
Oh.
And that one, I could see being less transitive-y. Although some dogs can't actually bark and can only howl. Some dogs only have a sort of yip versus a howl, which is different from an actual bark. And if they want to bark, they end up howling. And so that's kind of an interesting thing that for some dogs it's interchangeable in terms of like how they would use the howl. But to me, I could see a difference between, but then again, that's my human perception of the whole howling at the moon thing. That it's just there to like send long-term communication out there, but not sure you're affecting anything.
Yeah.
To be like, I think you're out there, so I'm going to find out if you are, so I'm going to alert something.
We could totally slew it and go, howl.
I mean, there's a reason the word is howl.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't not hear it. It's definitely a fricative at the beginning. It feels pharyngeal. And it either needs to be ow or just ooh, hool.
Yeah.
But I like ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
I want to pull up like search.
Wow, everything like. Oh, I know. Am I over on yours?
You were for a second.
Oh no, that's what happened. Okay.
Oh. If we put a W at the end, it would become oh.
Oh my god! But it comes from ho.
Yeah, but this one's pharyngeal. Ha would be uvular. How? How?
I mean, it's just because of sound changes that it became a V, so it's not like the V was there at the beginning.
Yeah, we also don't have
You're on my screen now.
Thank you. How do I get back?
What?
Got it.
There you go. I was whatever side you went off. Get back the other way. This is cracking me up because David's flirting with the edges of his screen, and so it keeps coming over to mine.
Trying to do the thing.
Oh my goodness gracious.
There we go.
And oh wait, what is? We should go on YouTube and listen to some howls. Connecting Grammaticalization by Sorensen et al. Huh. I'm gonna jot that down. Move my glasses, my other glasses, because I don't know why that paper came up, but if that got you through the early weeks of the 2020 lockdown, I need to know more about it. Grammaticalization by Sorensen. 2011. Nice. Cool. Okay. Okay.
Can you scroll down?
After I scroll up first. Okay, so here are some options. Ho becoming ho. Ho just becoming ho. Ho.
How?
Ho.
How?
Ho. I'll get there. And by me saying that, no, I won't. I already know. But I will be a very cute puppy speaker. I would be willing to put these to a poll.
All right.
A pollet, if you will.
I'm
not sure that works.
To do that some.
Oh, you're not even in YouTube, are you?
No, I'm not.
David. Oh my goodness. Ilona says, "How is the dog sound in Finnish?" How.
Oh.
Nice. Oh, Karis, a polling. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
We're getting David. You're in top chat. I don't know that that matters, though.
Yeah, not for this. But you know, it does matter. My volume is up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Halva is a cute word in Finnish for dog.
Oh, that is a cute
love
word.
It. are getting a vote ready to go. So decide what your word for howl, what your option is once we get these 4 into.
There we go.
Okay. Froglet. Oh, that would be a cute word. A little froglet.
I use that word all the time. Yeah.
What froglets do you see?
I don't know what context that is, but it just certainly use that a lot. Wow, this thing really.
Ooh.
This thing is really whipping around.
We'll have to see what wins. Do you have any predictions?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, Anime Fan wants pronunciation. I'm going to let David do that.
It's a bit late, but how. All
right.
Yeah,
how many votes do we got?
We've got more votes than viewers.
In which case we have a winner. Oh, and we have a winner.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't think anything's going to change things right now. Not unless Bibleridian himself appeared on the screen and said, "This is the word for howl," and it's obviously going to be bot.
And then we'd be like, fine.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I really cannot wait to have Jake and Miles in one room together. And that's amazing.
I think people are logging over on different accounts to try to change the vote at this point, but
well, I mean, you can also end the poll because
yeah,
we do have
6 more votes than viewers.
How many viewers? How many votes? Do you see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Poll is ended. It is going to be how.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a word for to howl.
Yeah. All right. So then, and you know, I think in this case the protoforms are the same, but it's good practice to write them down anyway.
All right.
All right. So good. We've got a couple of verbs. That's good.
Now we need the word for dog.
Yeah, we got it.
But we do need to discuss.
Do you think?
Okay, so here is where I am. I would think they would have some generic word that just means dog. Like we have a generic word for like tree. But I also think they would potentially have basic roots for their categorizations of dog, whether it was whether the big factions were based on breed or some other, you know, feature of the dogs. And so, like, I do think there's going to be a lot more words than just dog. But I also think they would want to be able to say, we understand that we have these different factions, but we are all dogs. Even if the generic word for dog was originally like something meaning like creature, animal, four-legged thing. Thing is the wrong word. Critter. Critter is a better word. That got monopolized and used to apply to dogs only, and so then to refer to other animals, they had to actually like use a compound later or whatever, you know, like whenever we decide what compounds can or will exist.
Don't forget Artifexian. Artifexian watches us like every day. He's a huge fan.
And so, anyway, that's kind of like where I am thinking.
All right.
Are you?
So Which dog do you want to honor?
The real dogs, the big ones.
I, of course, had a dog named Brandy.
Okay, dogs that are important to me, but they need to be one syllable, and they need to fit.
Yeah, so, I mean, the closest you could get for Brandy would be something like,
Prioritize your dog in my language.
or
We've got Kelly and Roman in all the languages. We don't have a single one of my dogs.
I am waiting to hear suggestions.
Okay, here is a list of all my favorite dogs. Oh, I don't know where I was that I just hit enter, but there may be a space somewhere in this document. I do apologize. Okay, so growing up, we had Nico, we had Kana, we had Brownie. Was the dog I had longest?
You had Kana and it was spelled like that?
Nikita. It was spelled like that. Those were some of my favorite dogs. We also just had a dog named Wolf and a dog named Sam, but we'll get past those. Then right now, my favorite dogs include, well, of course, Winston and Wilfred, Arnie and Alan. I do love them. Oh, and then of course there's Piper, my sister's dog. Funnily enough, Kay's dog Howl, I would steal Howl in a heartbeat. Let's see. Oh, Maggie May. I do love Maggie. Ruger is a bit of a fireball, but Ruger is a typical dog. Okay, so those are my favorites. Not a single one has, except for Howl, and we've already done Howl, has a one-syllable name. We apparently don't go for one-syllable names when we name.
Yeah, and like it's really hard. I'm trying. Like these aren't anywhere close to these dogs. I am so sorry. Well,
Kana is chicken in Finnish, I believe, is what Ilona is saying. Oh yeah, we have to have.
Ahmeti? Wow, that's a strange name for a dog.
We do need. Oh, we did do Sophia. Yes.
No, we don't have a lot of code of restrictions, except that it's just one.
Okay. Now, of these, Brownie was the childhood dog that, like, when I think of dogs, I think of Brownie the most. So if I were to honor, I'd probably choose Brownie out of all of them. But really, what does that leave us with? Brom?
Brown or Brum or Brem. It's really hurting me not to be able to go to Luxurgy or anywhere in my computer. I don't know why it's not doing the thing with my document.
Is it because it's treating the edges of your screen as the other one?
Very sorry.
Bless you.
It's everybody's fault but mine.
And so, oh wait, you had it.
Yeah, I'm trying to that just comes out straight the way it was. I don't think.
Just brown.
Yeah, I don't think any of these are going to change. Well, these will become va, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Vil.
So, vem, vel, are, all, make mug. It's good.
Oh my god. It could be just Rook. Rook. Can you say, if we pharyngealize that B, can you say brum for me?
Brum. Brum. Let me see what would happen if it was pharyngalized, if anything would change.
So sorry, George.
Ain't my fault. No.
Oh, Tethys. What is your dog's name, Tethys? Brum is cute, yeah. Okay, so I'm leaning brown, brown, but I do like the veil, veil, veil. Kind of like that.
We can hang on to these, of course.
Yeah, yeah. We can definitely use them for other things.
Oh, um, Karis has a good point.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, Karis.
Doesn't
Amazing.
fit the syllable structure. Oh, of course it can't start with an N. Yeah, mekru.
Oh.
Right.
Would become meku.
Cool.
Oh, I kind of like that. That was my parents' favorite dog. The only reason Nico is not necessarily my favorite dog from our dogs was because I only knew Nico up until I was 5. And so, it's like that. But that was the dog that we had. So, yeah, okay. Let's do either Brahm or Meku, which comes from Mek with a qua, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it just turns into Meku with the leftover.
I better. For this, I favor monosyllable in the modern.
In the modern form.
Yeah.
Okay, so monosyllable. I like the ah or the ow. This feels like something else to me, but it needs to be something.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like dog to me. I definitely like it though. That one's kind of fun too. Rogue. Kind of like Rogue, except it's Rogue. I don't know. I kind of like that. Okay, so of those, do you have any favorites, or do we want to put it to a little poll here?
I can't decide between Brahm and Brown.
Brahm, Brahm. Do you want to do a little poll? Find out whether we want Brahm or Brown?
All right. Okay. And in this case, the IPA is the same.
Ooh. Oh, that looked like an X from my point of view, and I was like, how do we get an X there?
Oh, and differentialized or not?
No.
No.
I chose against that. Not for this word. All right, so this will be. It made the RA all thin. That's why it looked like an X from a distance. I don't know what's up with the font. This is our word for dog, a basic word for dog, either Brahm or Brown. Oh, why did I make that all weird? Brahm or Brown? I'm trying to think of what veil. Veil.
Well. That's the thing. It's a dragon. Well.
It's a dragon.
No, it's drag. I feel like with this sound change, that L should drag things down. Well.
Oh, okay. So instead of like.
So it's not like vem, vel, and then vowel. Yeah, it should drag the down. Vowel.
Okay.
Wool. And it should drag the oo down. Wool. Yeah.
Alka's pointing out we had said the dogling's name could come from the call, and it could actually come from howl, which it could, like to howl or to call out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 58%, but like what? Oh, yeah, we got their votes.
Yeah, we do. All
All
right.
right, so Brom. There we go.
All right, that's
And
good.
take that one off because we've already honored. There we go. All right, so Brom from my lovely dog Brownie. That also means I don't think I've ever posted a picture of Brownie. I need to find one. Somebody had asked what kind of dog Brownie was. A just absolutely beautiful mutt. Uh, but I will post a picture in Discord of Brownie and me.
Um, quick question for this sound change that's dragging the vowel sound down. You want to do it before or after the split with L and LW? Because it should only be when it's a coda. And so if
And the LW would end up becoming an onset of an oo afterwards, right?
So if the sound change happened after that, it wouldn't apply before LW. If it happened before that, it would apply. So we have, maybe let's do like an easy one, bel. And would that become, bel? So bel.
That didn't work. No.
Here, I'll help you out here.
Thank you.
So this one is going to be that at that stage, and then this one. Actually, I think it's going to be an O because of the sound change. And so then that's one option. Or we have
Oh, Silvertail, I think back formation is what you're thinking of. If that's what you meant, but you couldn't remember the actual word. I think it's back formation is what you're thinking. Miles is asking if rem is a valid protoform. And if so, it must be the root for tongue.
Huh.
Fun. Oh, and yeah, tincture, it's also back formations often are related to folk etymologies. Not always, though. It's a separate process because folk etymologies can be applied much more broadly. Okay, so this would also be more important because if we drug it down, the central would potentially become the back correct?
Yeah.
And so while the a to situation is not that big of a deal, especially if we don't end up romanizing them differently, and so far we have really no reason to romanize them differently because it's kind of predictable and like you would know whether to say bel or bello or bello. But it would change like bel to bal, and that would either be bello, bello, that L is hard, or baglo.
Ballo. Ballo.
Ballo.
Ballo. Ballo.
Oh, tincture, yeah, you're right. Based on what we were talking about, this would actually not be a back formation. That was the term they were trying to think of. But you're absolutely right. The folk etymology is what would apply there. Woo! Yeah, let's get that right. Okay, I am in favor of it happening before.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm gonna write it in before you change your mind.
Wow, like everything went. Oh, there we go. Everything just went like dark on my options. I think it was because your cursor had recently been inside my screen. Excellent. Cool.
We had it for diphthong polarization, I think. No, how are we after that? Oh, also, can somebody please give me the correct spellings of Shishomaru and Kagome, because I feel like I've misspelled them in the document. And I don't want that.
I'm going to look it up on my phone and see if I find it. Shishomaru. Is this who you're thinking of?
Yeah, Shishomaru. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's wrong by a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the long O is important, but then it's Aru.
Wow, really?
And then Inuyasha, and then you need Kogome.
Yeah. All right, let's see. We call this
Kagome, I believe.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah, Kagome Higurashi.
Kagome. All right. Now.
Oh, bye,
Night.
Ilona.
Yeah.
Good night.
Shiva
Stay
baiva.
grammar. Huba what?
Shiva baiva.
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 Yeah, with a P.
Baiva. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what to call this thing. Pre-lateral lowering. There.
Oh, I can join you in the document too. Down. Whoops. A little bit higher than that. Oh, right on the nose there.
So this change caused. So is it going to affect the diphthongs?
Do you mean are the diphthong? Oh, wait.
So now we have a smaller amount of diphthongs. Ill, owl, isle, owl, owl.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Ill.
That's a really good question. Oh, and here's the actual spellings if you wanted to see the non-Romanized spellings.
Oh. Oh. Spelled in hiragana. But he gets kanji.
That's okay. So what we're discussing right now is we're going to have that velar L draw down vowels. But now the question is what happens with diphthongs? And didn't we have? Oh my gosh. And we were wrong. It wouldn't become belo. It becomes a straight up W. So it'd be babe.
Oh, yeah.
So we were wrong there.
Huh,
but didn't we have another one where we already discussed this coloring affects diphthongs? So the uvular coloring affects diphthongs. But we have not yet outlined it. So if we want to use that wording, there we have it.
Yeah. Is a uvular coloring, is it on either side? Yeah, it is. Okay. Ball, bile, bowl, bowl, bell, bell, bowl, boil, boil. There are a number of things that could happen. All right, so here's the question. Do we want to make this the poll?
It is conveniently timed for this, time of the episode
Yeah.
where we need to be thinking about polls and where we're not quite ready to do much else lexically until we get some other things done. And this, let me actually, sorry, I had scrolled down to look at the other one, but this is what we're deciding, and potentially what we decide in this poll could help inform what we should do for that uvular one as well.
Yeah.
Because so far we have it stated that it's going to affect diphthongs, but have not said anything about that. And so I think this could be an important discussion. And so I agree with this being this week's poll.
Okay.
And then next week, what we're going to start with is where we left off, and I will be ready to commit next week. We do have some good starts here, but in terms of what we're ready to do grammar-wise, I'm going to have to be ready to commit. Whatever we do is going to end up becoming very grammatically important for markers that end up showing up. So next week we will be able to write our first proto-sentence.
Though I suppose if howl can be intransitive, howbram.
Could be the dog howls.
Yeah.
And so, whoo, that could be our first little sentence there. A sentence ski.
Yeah.
In David's terms. All right, so I think that's a good place to leave off. Couple reminders.
Oh, and I fixed this.
Thank you. Couple reminders. You just took over my screen again.
Sorry.
If you are a patron, that podcast came out yesterday, and so go check it out. And by that podcast, I mean the new episode of LangTime Chat came out yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it for now. Next week is normal. I think we're normal for at least a couple of weeks. We will have to figure out later in the month if we're going to be able to stream.
Yeah.
There may be a Thursday this month that we need to talk about, but the next couple of weeks will be normal at any rate. And so, with that being said, we hope you're all having a great day, great start to, it took 3 years to get to my baby. We hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will see you next Thursday. Bye.
Stay grammar.
Stay grammar.